Okay, let me start with my presentation with a quote from Dr. Joaquin von Braun. Soil is the most neglected part of the human environment. Degrading soils means losing and wasting potential food today and forever. And regenerative farming, in literal sense, parang regeneration means bringing back the life. Regenerative farming is a system that manages both agronomic or agriculture and environment as well. So sabay sila. Habang pinapaganda natin yung lupa para ma-increase yung production side, at the same time, nai-increase natin yung diversity ng lupa, at the same time, nag-feed doon sa crops natin. So here are the positive impacts of regenerative farming. So the very positive number one is the reduced chemical inputs, and that means or equals to stop killing the microbiology of the soils and within the canopy of the plants. Remineralize the soil to support microbiology and plant health. Replace the minerals removed with exported crops. And soil microbes are organic carbon. So build organic carbon by supporting soil microbes with organic matter and mulching and composting. And enhance biodiversity and many different plant species. Provide aerobic, well-drained soils. So yung matigas, nandoon yung ecosystem worker, pinapalambot lang ng earthworm 24/7. And monitor and manage the system. So success is not always what we see. So yung palagi tayong bigay ng NPK sa ating tanim, so yung pinaka-visible impact niya ay yung vegetative growth. Impact ng nitrogen, urea, ammonium sulfate, malaki lang yung dahon, bigger leaves, bigger foliage, but it doesn't mean bigger tuber or bigger harvest. So the impact of microbes that we are using can be seen on the seedlings of our chili we planted on our farm. It has a more vigorous roots. If you look closely at the magnifying lens, you can see the hyphae of the mycorrhiza and more root hairs on the seedlings. So here is the diagram of the root crop being colonized by the beneficial microbes. It attaches to the root tips to feed on the exudates of the plant. The exudates is produced during the photosynthesis, and the microbes are feeding from the exudates. At the same time, the microbes are looking for water, minerals, and other elements to feed the plants as well, in order the plants to produce a better food for the microbes. So yun po yung diagram. On the far right is the mycorrhiza intertwining with the roots of durian and coconut in our farm. So because we do not put chemicals since 2014, so that's the effect on our soils. And once you pull a weed from the soil, if microbiology or microbes are very much alive within the rhizosphere, hindi po mahuhulog yung lupa. Sumasama ang lupa doon sa ugat pag binubunot ninyong tanim or any weeds. So, soil should be alive and breathing. So what regenerative farming are doing is we're promoting healthy soil. Soil organic matter and soil carbon na i-enhance namin through a more costly means. We just get trichoderma and the grow safe microbes. We put it in the soil, and sila na yung nagtatrabaho to provide more carbon in the soil. By having more carbon in the soil, by having more microbes, the soil can increase its own water holding capacity, and by having more fungi, the nematodes and other insects are eating the fungi, so it creates a bigger or more biodiversity in the soil, and it also improves soil structure. Napapalambot yung lupa, nabubuhaghag. So hindi na natin nagiging problema yung aeration at yung erosion. It has a better nutrient reserve because soil microbes are helping breaking down the elements to provide food for the plants. And soil cover is a must. Mulching and beneficial plants or cover crops. So underneath are the antibiotics, are the no-no in regenerative farming. So number one is the fungicide. This is the most harmful in regenerative farming as it kills almost all fungi, but some pathogens can escape fungicides, even the most potent fungicide. Second are the herbicides, because it also kills the weeds. By killing the weeds, you're also killing the roots and the weeds, depriving the microbes of food source. And lastly, insecticides, it also kills some group of microorganisms in the soil. And salinity, it was mentioned also in the earlier presentation. By adding potassium chloride or the muriate of potash, it also adds salinity on our soil. And cultivation, you just keep the soil open. So by baking our soil in the sunlight, it is also a no-no. It kills microorganisms. It lessens the fertility of our soil. So now we have a better definition of regenerative farming, and that means all things are working together for good. So you can see the effect of microbes on the roots. And after a few months of quitting chemicals, the leaf of the cacao is being colonized by spiders. Before we start, we should have a comprehensive soil test, because we don't know what are the remaining elements yet in our soil. So kung tapon lang tayo ng fertilizer, walang response, tapon lang din tayo ng pera. And carbon and nitrogen balance for microbial health, because sometimes we don't need nitrogen, we just need carbon for a better plants. Organic carbon is how can we improve carbon levels by mulching and by adding microorganisms in the soil. So here is the detailed soil analysis provided to us by the Balangay Foundation. So Balangay is the one that helped me, Gadong Farms, in starting regenerative farming here in the Philippines. So it is one of the tools that we are using to monitor the fungal to bacterial ratio, the microbiometer, also provided by the Balangay Foundation. And here's the comparison. Last 8 February 2023, when we get the count of microbiome in the same spot, it has a very low microbiome count. And last November 2023, last November 3, it increased into almost middle and going to high microbiome count on the same level. The soil in this picture is brown. After 9 months, it's very black. It's very rich already. So on the other side, using a multi-species, the grow safe microbes, it has a very short effect. Very short lang, tumaas agad yung microbiome count. From low last June 2022 to almost excellent in 17 October 2022. So yung previous picture was only using single microbes, Trichoderma harshanum, and these are using grow safe, having 10 species of microbes. So for comparison doon sa area na walang agricultural activity, so kaya lang itong boundary namin, yung kabila niya, a farm that is practicing the traditional way. So when we get the soil sample and put it in the microbiome count, the microbiome count is high, having 569 microgram count per gram, and a fungal to bacterial ratio of almost balanced. So we can see, for comparison, without regeneration, it's very low. With regeneration, it's almost excellent. But without farming activity, the soil biodiversity is very high. So with cacao is a forest species, so we need to provide almost the same habitat, a forest floor also for cacao, in order for the cacao to provide a better yield. So here, the chairman of Region 11 Cacao Council is standing on two same trees, the USMCH2. The first is the control or untreated, and the treated tree is also already bearing a pod after 9 months of treatment. Untreated leaves, favorite ng kulisap. After treatment, they lose interest. Masyado nang matigas yung dahon. When you crumple it, bumabalik lang siya na parang goma. So ito yung control, the treated part. Yung control, naging malnourished, walang treatment, walang nilagay. Treated part, buhay na buhay. Buhay din income ng farmer. So ito yung effect niya sa buong area. pati yung nyog namin naging 17 to 22 nuts per bunch. Pest control, dahil wala na kaming chemicals na ginagamit, the hornets are attacking the worms of the durian borer. The lanzones bark borer, after applying with Boveria bassiana, after 10 days, parang may icing na, infected na ng Boveria bassiana. So everything we apply in our farm are biological. So here, the control for earthworm are snakes. Yung giant earthworm, naging hapunan ng snake. Kasi pag sobrang na rin dami ng earthworm, sobrang lambot ng lupa, delikado na rin, mabubuwal yung tanim natin. So the science behind it is glomalin. Microbes produce glomalin. It is a glue-like substance that binds the soil and the organic matter, thereby providing a better aggregate and stability, providing water retention, and providing an anchor against soil erosion. Second is the triggering of the jasmonic acid pathway. Jasmonic acid is the plant hormone that triggers the defense mechanism of the plant. When an insect attacks a leaf, so this hormone triggers the plant to provide more sap to prevent the insects from attacking it further. So once the plant is healthy, it has its own defense mechanism. We don't need to have lots of pesticides. So the results for orchard, yung results sa amin sa Gadong Farms, we have reduced chemical inputs, so we have a better way to farm. We have reduced chemical contamination and improved yield of quality of beans and fermentation, better quality. Noon, mahirap kami makuha yung temperature sa fermentation because parang yung microbiome sira na. Wala na rin yeast sa hangin. But now, na-achieve namin yung 48 to 54. And marketing advantages. So we have a better story to tell that Gadong Town Farms and Chukain Chocolate are using almost zero chemicals in our production, in cacao production. So I'm also ending my presentation with a quote. So right now, the soil that we are using are not our generation soil. We are using up the soil of the unborn child. We have no business to do that because soil is not our property. It is a legacy that has come to us. A legacy that we should leave behind, leaving soil. For once there is no richness in soil, there is no way there's richness in life. From Sadhguru.